All right, so we have everything mixed and ready to start stuffing. We got the grinder changed out and put into stuffing mode. So we've got the large stuffing tube and the little plastic auger in there to help fill our sausage bags and summer sausage casings and whatnot. So we're ready to start doing that. This is another thing too that's new this year. This was, Amber wanted to get this to try it out this year. So we have, it's basically a LEM tape gun here. Twist and seal solution. So we're going to have to kind of learn how to use this. Essentially, we'll roll up the end of the bag, put it in here, and then somehow it wraps the tape around the end of it. So more to come on that. What do you think, Mom?
I don't know how it works yet.
Well, we better figure it out. Okay, so we're going to start with the 5 pounds of breakfast sausage here. And we're going to be putting them into these 1 pound poly wild game bags. So you can kind of see it coming through the stuffing tube there. And it does build up a little bit of air. This is why the foot switch on these is invaluable. So it kind of gives us a fill line right here, which is about 1 pound. And so she's gonna, here, you can do that, and I'll feed in here.
Try a little air here.
Kind of twist the bag, and then you just slide it down, pull it out. Boom, that is slick. Okay, so we are, out of the 5 pounds, we got 4 of them stuffed already. There's easily a pound in here, but we're running into the scenario where we don't have any meat to help push this through. So what we're going to do, this was breakfast sausage, and essentially this is pork breakfast sausage in a sense too. So we're going to use this as a way to get some meat behind this. So, and if a little bit of it blends, we're fine, whether we end up with a little bit of breakfast in our first Cajun tube or a little bit of Cajun in our last breakfast tube. So we're gonna load the hopper with the Cajun sausage, and we got about 8 pounds of that here. And now we got something that we can feed through with. And this is a different enough color that I think we'll be able to tell once the Cajun starts coming out here. Because this has got some venison in it, and this is just all pork, so we should be able to see a little bit of a color difference. Don't you think?
I do.
I think just fill a pound one way or the other, and I think I can see the air in there, so I think we're changing between the two. I think you got pretty close, don't you? Need some more? There we go. And yeah, it looks like we're pretty much into the straight Cajun. Slick. Okay. And since this is pork, we're going to change bags. Because we got some poly bags that say just straight pork sausage, since that's what we're doing now. This should go pretty fast. Okay, now we are moving on to some of the summer sausage, so we're going to be using a different casing for that. We're actually using these LEM fibrous casings. They hold 3 pounds per casing. They're basically 20 inches long. I'm going to show you what those looks like. One thing different about those is the closure. So we actually use these hog rings. It's basically just like a metal closure at the end of it that just crimps the end off. We found that this length works good because when we smoke them, we can hang them vertically, and then when we package them, we cut them in half. So half is about right once we're done, but having the full length now makes the smoking process abundantly easier. So let's go ahead and run one through here. And so these you can pack pretty tight. Okay, so she's gonna twist that up here. And then when you twist it tight, it tightens up all the meat down here too, so you don't get air pockets and whatnot. And now the hog ring. So I'm just gonna kind of slide that on there as best I can, and then just clamp down fast and tight. There we go. So yeah, this one you can tell there's a few wrinkles in there, so we can pack it in there a little bit tighter on the future ones. On to the next one. And the key is to keep the meat flowing down into the stuffer and auger is you got to have somebody up here packing it in, keeping that pressure on there. Otherwise, it just has a tendency to spin down there in the grinder. You need that pressure to keep the meat moving there. And at 3 pounds per shot, you go through the meat pretty fast this way. Okay.
That one kind of big.
All right, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Looks good. We're going to keep knocking this out. We just got done stuffing the summer sausages, and we're going to move on to the Polish dogs here. So with the summer sausage, we had 25 pounds of meat, and we ended up with 9 of these logs that are 2.5 inches by 20 inches. So it's not quite 3 pounds per log, but pretty darn close. And then on the jalapeno summer, we ended up with 8, and then we used a couple of these small ones. We knew we didn't have enough to get that full 9th one. We tried pushing as much through, but we finished with a couple of these oddball casings that we had to get those. And now last, we have our 25 pounds of smoked Polish sausage. We are going to be using these LEM natural casings here. We used these last year for the first time. It's a natural hog casing, 32 to 35 millimeters, says it stuffs 20 to 25 pounds, so it should be about perfect for that. These ones, you don't have to soak them. You just kind of have to rinse them out. So we're going to get started on that. And I'll walk over here. We did get, since we had to change up the feeder tube on the, or the stuffer tube, not feeder, the stuffer tube on the grinder here. We just went ahead and took all this off. We gave it a quick rinse, took the throat off here and gave all that a quick rinse, just so we don't have any cross-contamination of flavors or seasonings there. And I think once we get the casings going, we're good to go here. Okay, Mom, here we are, ready to, okay, so in the interest of transparency, we had to do our first batch to kind of reacclimate ourselves with how to twist and how tight to stuff and stuff like that. And Mama nailed it here. So now she's ready for prime time.
I doubt that.
So we've got the casing, moved on to the stuffing tube there. We got some meat already primed in here. So she's going to show us the ideal way to stuff these smoked Polish sausages. So I'm going to be up here running the stuffing, or the stomper.
So one thing we didn't show, we tied a knot at the end of it and then also poked a hole at the end so that airflow can move and we don't get bubbles.
Yeah, so when we first started, the take you didn't see is we didn't have any meat like primed into the tube and stuff. So as soon as I started stuffing meat in here, this blew up like a freaking balloon down here because we didn't have a hole in the end. So you want to do that. You saw her do it just a little bit ago. Cut a little hole right in the tip of that. That way any excess air can kind of bleed off as we go. And wetness is the key on this. Make sure your stuffing tube is moist. Make sure your casing is moist. It just helps these natural casings slide off of the feeding tube so much easier. Okay, Mom, we're ready. Heat it. So what kind of consistency are you looking for on the tightness? You want it firm, but not too firm because we got to have room to twist it, right?
Yep. I don't know how to explain it.
So you just kind of have the feel for the meat, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a rare steak, probably.
A rare steak. So a little squishy, not too tight, because you remember we got to put all the twists in between these, so we don't want to get it. If we get it too tight, we're going to blow out the casing, but if we don't get it tight enough, it's going to be, you know, like squishy.
So we filled the casing. I'm going to pin and roll away from myself. Ooh, they're tight.
Really tight.
Pinch and roll towards myself.
Okay. Those look like good dogs.
Repeat. Away. Towards.
That's a big one.
They're the same.
That's a good one. That's a dad dog.
That was that towards.
I think that one was toward, yeah, this one. There you go.
Away. Ooh. This is
So you can kind of see it. The people that do this for a living make it look super easy,
Nate.
but it's not that easy. So again, the well, don't you just want to push that out the end?
I will.
Yep. You're just kind of getting an idea on your. Looks like a good dog. So the excess, instead of having a enormous dog or a really small dog, we're just going to throw that back on the hopper, tie off the end.
My fingers aren't working no more.
And there it is.
There it goes.
Good job. You're pretty handy with the meat.
Nothing.
How many meat buns can I get in today?
That's like a million.
All right, so the boys are back, and Mom and Lee finished up our smoked Polish sausages. So the package on here recommends letting them rest in a refrigerator overnight. That's fine because our smoker's all tied up, and so we'll just kind of put these in the fridge for overnight, and then we will smoke them tomorrow.